Babbity bap bap skiddy beep bap ba.
Are you recording?
Hello and welcome to this week's Football Talk podcast. I am so enthusiastic. Dave even chuckled at the other end of the phone. How are you, Dave?
I did, and I'm still on my phone. So if quality isn't as good, then suck it up and deal with it. I'll be back in Singapore in 2 weeks' time.
Woo! But UK, you've been hosted by UK, a different city this time. You've been moving around. You've seen all the sites, aren't you? Seeing all the big hitters. If a tourist was going to come to the UK, you've done it.
You're right. I mean, I've landed in Heathrow.
Mhm.
I've done North
Tick.
London,
Yep.
Bristol, Essex, and I currently reside in Derby. So
Derby, I'm not sure I've actually ever been to Derby. No.
do you know what? I can see Pride Park from my hotel room.
Oh,
So-
some fond memories watching some Premier League football there. Benito Carboni thrashing one in. Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then is it still Derby that holds the record for minimal points? It is, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the highs and the lows, really, aren't there?
Yeah. We cover it all on this podcast.
Yeah.
So
Can you see, is Philip
But-
Cocu knocking around? Have you seen Philip Cocu anywhere?
nah, not yet.
Mm.
Sunday, isn't it? Day of rest. They didn't
Oh,
play
yeah,
today,
he won't
so-
be out. Yeah, he won't be out. But
Yeah.
no, another week has passed, another week of football. And this week, we had a bit of, Champions League was back. And for some, the Europa League was back. Wasn't it, Dave? Hey?
Yeah, cheers, Josh.
Yeah.
Well, at least we won. So
Yes, I mean, if you look on the face of it, a win in the Europa League against, who Astana was it? Is probably
that's the might of Kazakhstan. Yeah.
yes. Whereas we drew with the might of Greece. Yeah, we'll touch on that then. So yeah, you put out a bit of a younger side. Did you? Man United got a 1-0 win with Mason Greenwood getting the goal, didn't he? And you called for him to be included. And with spoiler alert, Marcus Rashford's injury today, maybe we'll be seeing a bit more of him in coming weeks. Has he got what it takes?
I think he did look very good. He made some good runs, and he's very. He's I think he'll scare defenders because he can just use both feet, and you don't get too many players that can do that naturally nowadays. But he looked good. Ole says he's the best finisher at the club, but has only played him in one game, and that's against the mighty force of the Kazakhstan league winners.
Mm-hmm.
But he got his goal. It was well taken. It was well done. I was impressed with him, but I was more, and it's harsh to say this, but I was more unimpressed with the other youngsters that played, like Gomez and Chong, and they're the ones we've heard a lot about in the youth team quite a lot. So I was expecting a bit more from them, but this probably is quite a tough game to come into as a youngster against an Eastern European team that are probably just going to kick you because they know they're not as good. But Greenwood was good. I do think we'll see a lot more of him now that Rashford picked up this injury. We don't know. Well, I'm not aware of it being announced what sort of an injury it is in terms of.
It normally takes
length,
a couple of days, and we'll probably find out midweek. But well done to United. Obviously, if we keep on the Europa League, obviously Arsenal got a good result, 3-0 win against Eintracht Frankfurt, although a very different Eintracht to last year, having lost their front three. Rangers did all right. No, Rangers getting. 1-0 win against Final, pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was going to say it's I thought Steven Gerrard wouldn't do a very good job, but he does seem to be ticking them along quite nicely now he's been there. He's got a few influx of loan players from Liverpool and ex-colleagues that he knows and things like that. But
yeah,
he's,
similar to the Lampard at Derby, wasn't it? Getting a lot of loans in, and you got that relationship. And who said nepotism dead in football? Eh?
Yeah, but yeah, they did well. Rangers, obviously, a very good result today because we don't normally talk about Scottish football. But yeah, good result. Your old mate Jermaine Defoe getting a brace as well for Rangers today. So still doing it, still doing what he loves, scoring goals.
Yeah, tell me about over 30 older players scoring goals. I read stat today that Zlatan Ibrahimovic has scored, I think, scores hundreds of goals since turning 30. I think he scored like 300 goals since turning 30, which is just
bloody hell.
That's not right.
That's
actually.
insane.
That can't be right. Is that?
That can't be right.
I mean, that's someone. Please tell me how wrong I am. But he has leveled himself out with where he's been. He scored. I think he probably got 1-for-1 in PSG. We probably got 100. Yeah, I think that's right. I'm going to go over it. Is right. Yes, I confirm my own stat. I've marked my own
Okay.
homework.
Good. A+.
Yeah. The loser of the Europa League, I'd say, would be Wolves, having lost at home to Braga, and didn't lose again today, but still to pick up a win in the Premier League, which we'll touch on again. So it's not going too great for Wolves. Champions League obviously happened at well, and I don't know, English sides weren't
Talk us
faring
through
too.
it, Josh.
Yeah, I mean,
We're going to start with Spurs. Talk us through it.
okay. Yeah, it looks quite promising, and then it's just in the last few games we've had this frailty, and I'm not sure if it's mental frailty or tactical frailty. And after the match, Poch came out and said the players didn't follow my plans, and Pochettino came in at Spurs, and we became renowned as a hard pressing side, and just kind of were physically dominating teams, much like Liverpool do now. And we did that, and then I think people came to respect us. We kind of then every season, I'd say our press has just reduced, and now our press is almost non-existent. But I think that maybe that's what he was getting back to, is that he was wanting the sides to press. And yeah, I mean, conceding just before half time and then conceding a penalty just after, and yeah, it's a little bit concerning time to be a Spurs fan. But I mean, in Champions League terms, it's not the worst thing going away from home, getting a point. It's all about home form in the group stages, really, to pick up your points at home, and you're pretty much done and dusted. Not the other English clubs. I mean, Liverpool lost away at Napoli. They seem to have met their match with Napoli, I think they lost there last year as well, actually. Fernando Llorente, the Tottenham saviour of last year, grabbing a late goal of a little bit of a mistake from Virgil van Dijk, a little bit.
It's a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah.
It was a he passed to Llorente. That's a pretty big mistake.
Yeah, it's nice to see, wasn't it? Nice to see he's human.
Yeah, it was great.
Chelsea also lost at home to Valencia, and we spoke earlier in recent pods around. I thought they've got that kind of immaturity, and they seem to be a bit gung ho, and maybe that's not a attitude that's quite right for Champions League European football. And I was a little bit unlucky, a bit of a smash and grab from Valencia, but yeah, it's that home games you got to be winning, and it's not ideal for them. But
do you think that was just down to like a lack of experience of people that have sort of been there and done it before? I know they've still had some players in the squad that did it, but like you said, it's a lot of youngsters. Do you think it's a new Champions League experience, gung ho, or do you think it's Lampard saying we just need to go and impress and get a goal?
I think it's a bit of Lampard and a bit of the players, because I think, Mourinho led or Conte led, I don't think would have even entertained losing at home in a group, really, especially to one of the better sides in the group. Maybe they would later on, they might have lost home games in the group because they were all but qualified or something. But opening game at home to one of the better sides in the group, that is a must not lose, I'd say, because you then are fighting up against it. But no, there's plenty of. There's five games left. Obviously, I'm sure they can overturn it. And the last one of the English bunch was Man City away at one of your favourite sides, wasn't they? The Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yeah, Shakhtar Donetsk, got a little soft spot for them. But I watched that game in Bristol. It was comfortable. I'd put that down to under Man City. They can file that away under comfortable and routine. That win.
So you can also file down a comfortable routine. PSG versus Real Madrid, 3-0. Neymar out, Mbappe out, and 3-0 to PSG. It's a bit of a feature across Europe at the moment. Some of the sides really aren't firing you expected. Like Real Madrid aren't firing. Barcelona lost this weekend. Juve have been kind of scraping through, and Man City have had a bit of a stumble in the league, and not to mention the other top six sides, all kind of doing their best impressions of top six sides. It's not been vintage from the bigger European club sides so far this start of the season, is it?
No, it hasn't, and it's strange because it wasn't a major tournament, was it? Well, the African Cup of Nations was on. I guess maybe teams in Spain were affected more by Copa America than the UK, but in terms of UK, definitely with no World Cup and no European Championships, they had the Nations League, but that finished early in relation to other European tournaments. But this is the sort when you have these sort of gap year, you think that's when all the bigger teams hit the ground running because their players are more fit and come back fresh. But yeah, it's been very, very bizarre, especially in La Liga. La Liga's just like batshit crazy at the moment. Is it Granada that's top of La Liga?
Granada, yeah.
It's
pretty unique. But other than that, I mean, it's been pretty. There's lots of talking points that we'll probably get into in the review of the weekend's football. So unless you have any other breaking news you'd like to cover, I think we'll move on to the quiz, Dave.
Yeah, no, let's move. Crack on, mate. Crack on.
So yeah, each week I challenge Dave to a quiz. Varies. Feel free to send any in that you'd like me to quiz him with, and you can tweet me at CoolJ. But this week I've come up with a quiz, and don't worry, I've remembered the theme tune. Just want to give it a little, yeah. Don't worry. Ooh la 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 la. Ooh la 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 la. Ooh la 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 la. It's quizzing time, right? Have you got your pen and paper at the ready, David Nichols?
Do you know what? I've just gone up to my hotel desk to get my pen and paper.
Oh, living a life of luxury. Look at you with a desk and a pen and paper. Oh, wow.
I know.
Someone's earning.
Right.
This quiz is about managers and about money. I would like to know the top 10 managers who spent the most money throughout their careers. So this is incoming transfers. They've spent large. They've had lots of money at their disposal and they've taken it. So top 10 across Europe. Well, across the world, but it will be Europe who comes out on top because that's where the money is. Dave, you ready?
What, of all time?
Yes, but I mean, you can pretty much focus it in the near term because that's when the money's coming.
Yeah, okay. Mourinho.
Yeah. Mourinho, number 1.
Shock horror.
Yes,
Check
this is these are live from taken from Transfer Market. In pounds, he has apparently spent throughout his career £992 million pounds, or £993 million if I round up. So that's not bad going. Can't wait to get that final £7 million signing in and take him over the £1 billion mark.
That is crazy. I mean, I've got to go Pep just because of the clubs he's been at.
Oh, Pep, a mere 50 million behind in second place.
Okay. Jurgen Klopp.
Jurgen Klopp? No.
No, okay. Who just goes places and spend loads of money?
Yeah, I'd think about it.
Zinedine Zidane.
No. I think you've probably got a few years. You need more kind of experience in the locker and been at some real big clubs. So, and a number of them have been around, been a few clubs to do this kind of spending.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If I went, no, I was going to say Louis van Gaal, but I don't think he would have done.
No, he's a big youth man, isn't he? He's a big promote from the youth.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Nearly, I'd say, how many of the remaining ones have worked in the Premier League? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the remaining 8 have worked in the Premier League.
Arsene Wenger?
Arsene Wenger creeps in at number 10. Yes.
Oh.
At 555 million. Yeah, he's done quite well there to get in because he was never a big money signing, but maybe it must have been that Aubameyang Lacazette deal took him right at the very end.
Yeah, okay. I'm really struggling to think of managers that have spent loads of money. I bet there's some really obvious ones.
Yeah, I mean, it almost goes hand in hand with who are the best managers in the world because they've normally managed the best clubs, spent the money, and therefore won the trophies.
Carlo Ancelotti,
number 5, spending 803 million, current manager of Napoli.
Yeah. Rafael Benitez?
No, Rafa Benitez. You'd have thought that he might be. I mean, his barren years at Newcastle probably stitched that right up, haven't they?
Yeah, that's true. Okay. This is tougher than I thought it would be.
Is it?
Actually.
Yeah, I thought this is an easy one, but if you're struggling, it must be pretty hard. You're normally fairly decent at these types of quizzes.
Yeah. Okay. I want to get one more because that's halfway.
We'll get you halfway. Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Come on, Dave. Yeah, my brain's just gone blank.
Who are the money-rich clubs and who have their managers been?
Roberto Mancini,
number 8. He's in there, just above. Well, either side of people you haven't named yet, so I can't name them. Yeah, he is now current manager of Italy, so he's spending £0 there, or €0 there.
Okay, I'm going to chuck in Manuel Pellegrini as well.
Oh, gets him. Number 4. Pellegrini's in there, current manager of West Ham. So West Ham are still spending a bit of cash, so he's still topping that up. He's not doing a Benitez when he was at Newcastle, but yeah, he's getting some additions to there. We'll leave it there. You got 6. You got 4 remaining, Dave. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll move on to reviewing this week's football, and it's been a full-on fixture list. We had a Friday night game, we had Saturday night, Saturday lunchtime, Sunday, throughout the day. It's been rip-roaring stuff, and we'll start with the Jamie Redknapp derby on Friday night. Southampton versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth are an oddity. They can win big, lose big. Who knows what's going to happen? And they ran out winners here, didn't they, Dave?
I could not believe it. I watched this and I was like, what is wrong with Southampton? And when did Bournemouth become this able to score goals? And it's like you say, you just don't know what's going on. And then you got, the comedic moment of when a goalkeeper and defender both go for a ball and then realise that neither of them want it. And then Callum Wilson just sticks the ball into an empty net.
Yeah, that was pretty. I mean, Southampton had 26 shots. That's only 2 fewer than City had against Watford. But
yeah,
but they weren't great chances. But it was just poor defending, really. But it's positives. I mean, they are creating a lot of positives for Bournemouth. I think Harry Wilson showing he can do it. He's made a step up from Championship to Premier League, along with kind of how Mason Mount's doing. So I bet Derby fans are really happy for them. Yeah, and people I saw afterwards. Journalist Henry Winter was like, "Oh, Eddie Howe doing a great job." It's like, well, do you remember last season? They had a great start to last season. They won like 3-4 in a row, up there after like 6-7 games, and then they scraped like 3-4 wins the rest of the season. That's not great. That's not. And if people think he's had not had much money to spend, he spends a fair amount of cash down there.
Yeah, it's very football in itself is very short-termism, isn't it? Like,
yeah. I mean, Man United appointed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's how short-term it is.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. And you're right. He spent loads. If you think about and his track record, Eddie Howe's track record spending money, big transfer fees isn't actually very good.
No, the big of a sum would be the flop. It seems to come. Yeah.
Yeah, Dominic Solanke, Jordan Ibe, just to name 2, but when he picks up a bargain, he does seem to pick up a good bargain. Like Joshua King has done pretty well since he brought him in. But definitely. I would love to get on board of the Eddie Howe bandwagon and be like, he should be managing a top 6 club, but I just don't know. I don't see it. I don't see him managing a big club, like a big club, but
no. Bournemouth find themselves in the top 6 currently, so he's got 10 points from 6. Well done, Bournemouth. Southampton, just a kind of win behind, 3 points behind, find themselves all the way down in 13th. It's still early days, right?
Yeah.
Move on to the early kickoff from Saturday, the Harry Kane derby. Oh man! Again, this is so against Arsenal. Spurs took a 2-goal lead and got pegged back to 2-2 against Olympiacos. Spurs took a 2-goal lead, got pegged back for 2-2. In this game, Spurs took a 2-goal lead and got pegged back and lost 2-1.
Did they? Yeah. Did they?
Yes, we blooming well did. Absolute joke. This is a joke.
But the red line was just the wrong side of the blue line.
Oh right, yeah. Honestly, they cannot. My issue. I'm pro VAR. I'm anti how it's been implemented. It's really frustrating. It's just so. It's just there's the degree of accuracy is my issue with it. So
yeah,
we're having goals ruled out for this. It's not that it's just been. It's just a few millimeters offside, so it should be allowed. That's not the issue I'm saying. It's the fact that it's no matter the distance. The problem is that no one can actually know if the decision was fully correct because it's the angles of things. So the official has to pause at a certain point. Has that been released from his boot at a certain point? Have they got the angle to see? Is it when he makes contact with the ball? Is it because the frames you choose, the milliseconds it can go could be millimeters at the other end, and then it's the drawing the lines on the player. It's arbitrary. It's like if he's turned a funny way, his shirt's been pulled away. Hey, are you sure you're drawing the line exactly on the right millimeter where his shoulder meets his arm? Are you sure that's the point? No, you're not sure of that point, and it's just. If you're a millimetre off there, you're a millimetre off when he's offside. It's not what I ever thought the VAR would be. And to
Can
rule
I
that
add
out.
something else into the mix just to add your annoyance into this as well? Like add to your annoyance about VAR. And
Go
this
on, yeah.
specific example is, when they put the lines on and then they zoomed in on the picture to make sure the lines are in the right places and called it offside. That's something that then is called digital zoom, which makes pixels more pixelated if they're not taken at a very high image rate. And the amount of digital zoom pixelation that happened on that picture when they zoomed in on it was absolutely ridiculous.
It was crazy, wasn't it? Yeah.
For a man that has to deal with this in a day-to-day life in terms of working in a laboratory, that's not acceptable. That is not acceptable for that to happen.
And the thing is, all the time, this is happening at an angle which isn't in line with. People could go, "Oh yeah, they can do it on a 100-meter race. They've done it." It's like, well, one, I think there's a laser involved there, and two, they're on the line, and it's specific. Like that's why goal line technology is perfect for me. This is ludicrous that we're getting down to millimeters here, and we're not sure of millimeters because of all the aforementioned points. But okay, let's take that Spurs. It's their own doing they lost this ultimately because we're lacking midfield control. So Harry Winks and Sissoko between them had one tackle and one interception for the whole match. That is not how you control the midfield. I know you can control the possession, but Sissoko isn't a possession man. He should be putting himself about. He should be winning the ball. And also, Lloris his wife's having a child, so Gazaniga was in. Gazaniga was at fault for the goal.
The offside goal,
but the offside goal is one I'm more concerned with, is because without that, the fans immediately got on the back of everything, and there was a ruled out offside goal for Leicester, and that added pressure to the referee, pressure to the whole scenario, and I can't help but feel there's maybe subconscious that I'm evening things up.
But I don't agree with that. I'm going to disagree with you there. I don't think referees think like that. If they think, I've sent someone off, then it's more likely to send someone off from the other team, or I've given off that offside goal. So
I think you see it time and time again. Offside. You see a away side get a penalty, and then a home side get a penalty. I feel like there is that just kind of counter. But it's more around the whole the pressure it built within the stadium. Because Glenn Hoddle when he was commentating, he was like, I've never quite known an atmosphere like it so early on. And the fans were really, it's cracking atmosphere. But that situation, Gazaniga turns that ball around the post, there's no more intensity to that match. It kind of just, it fades away, and it just kind of kept it along.
Or it just holds the shot because it was at him.
Yeah.
I think that's very classic sort of like, obviously I don't know if professional footballers think like this, but from an amateur football point of view, if you have a shot that goes at the goalkeeper and he spills it like that and then the goal's disallowed for offside, you're like, boys, let's have a lot of shots today. He's terrible.
Yeah, and he was a fool for a goal. He should never be beaten. He's a big lad, got a good reach. He should never been caught for Maddison's goal for me. But my also criticism of Victor Wanyama, the man, if he was a horse would have been put down, he is past it. He gets brought on to solidify things. 4 minutes in, he gets booked and is at fault for, I think, gives the ball away for one of the goals. It's I don't know why you bringing him on.
You were selling him.
Yeah, I think we tried to sell him. Why are you bringing him on? And I mean, I don't know what's happened to Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer is back on the bench. The man, during Pochettino's first 3-4 years, couldn't get out the side. Now he can't get back in the side, and now I think we're crying out for someone who can actually put himself about a bit, because we look weak in midfield, and Ndombele needs to get up and running. I mean, Lo Celso's out for weeks, Ryan Sessegnon's out for weeks, so new signings aren't going to make a difference. We need to get back to basics and just get winning, because we haven't won an away game since January in the Premier League. The last away game we won was away at Ajax.
That's really bad.
But yeah, hey, Gez didn't ruin my weekend. It was it's only football. So
Yeah.
that will move
Also,
on.
take the positive.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry Kane scored a goal whilst falling over. So.
Yeah, as I tweeted, he did the two things he loved: dived and scored. So well done him. So I mean, I might have thought it was bad for me, but let's move on to David James. He was torn in the David James derby. It was City versus Watford, and I mean, Watford made a good game of it for a good few seconds. But I imagine I think they're haunted by City, I'd say. I mean, obviously there was the FA Cup final last year, was it? Or this year, last season, was it 6-0? Now,
yeah,
this ended in 8-0. I mean, this is the highest XG I've seen, 6.83 for City's XG. That is ridiculous.
it was 8-0, and it could have been 13, 14.
Should have been.
But they hit the bar and the post
should have
3
been, though,
times.
shouldn't it? They should have got to double figures. They
Yeah.
should be smashing that record.
Yeah, they should be.
What are your thoughts on when a side goes that many goals up? I think for me, it shows respect if you keep going at it. You don't take your foot off the gas. That's a disrespect to your opponent. Like we've got to take it easy, even like they're a child. I think you need to keep going and be ruthless. Don't over celebrate. Like De Bruyne when he scored his goal, lovely goal by the way, roofs it, but just puts his arms up but it shows respect doing that. And I've seen a few people to the contrary, like, oh, go and give them a break or something. It's like, what? That is not how professional sport should happen.
No, I'm the same as you. They're professional athletes, and they're doing this to be the best of their ability, and it's their job, and their job is to go out there and score as many goals as possible. So, like you say, do it respectfully. Don't go and celebrate and over the top celebrate when you're 8 or 9-0 up. But yeah, you're there to go and score goals. But funnily enough, I was chatting to so I was at a wedding at the weekend, and I was chatting to yesterday, in fact, and I was chatting to a German lady who was very nice, and we were going through the school. She's big into her football, big Borussia Dortmund fan, and this came through, and we're like, bloody hell, 8-0, and she was like, oh, do you not think that's embarrassing for the Man City players and Man City fans? And I was like, not really, it's their job. And she was like, well, during the World Cup when Germany absolutely smashed Brazil in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, it got to a point where I think she was like, when it got to like 4-0 inside 15 or 20 minutes or something, that she was like, this is embarrassing now, and I feel bad for the Brazilians in their own capital stadium, like getting smashed this much. I was like, really? I wouldn't think like that. I'd be like, this is a marker. Let's go down and show it. So there are people, football fans out there who feel like that. So I don't know. It's a good question for the comments, I guess. What do you think about? Do you just go out and keep scoring as many as you want, or do you ease off? And I mean, what's worse, Josh? Would you want your team to be leading 4-0 and your players start to showboat and you get loads of skills and step overs and rainbow flicks and all that sort of stuff, but the score finishes 4-0, or do a professional job and it finishes 9 or 10-0?
Oh, the latter. I mean, that's what you want.
Yeah.
And the thing I'd be intrigued with is how do fans feel in that situation? Fans, turn up. It's a good day of football, and then 5-0 up in 20 minutes. You're like, do I stay? Like,
yeah.
So I think by the end of it, it looked like it was pretty empty, and so it's not that hard for Etihad, but it does test the fans' kind of desire, doesn't it? It's like, and it must got to be similar for a lot of the season, really, because Man City do at home, especially, do tend to walk numerous games, and it really narrows down the amount of games which are that exciting. That kind of, because the excitement is when it's a close match and you win it, and you can get the points. Whereas, I mean, it's more of a kind of a family affair. If you're going to win 8-0, you want to take your kids to get there. They're going to have a happy experience. You don't really want to. Die-hard fans aren't going to really get too much joy out of that. Wouldn't have thought.
No, I know what you mean. And then thinking on the flip side of it, when do you leave if you're a Watford fan? Oh. When do you start looking at the train timetables, thinking I can go and catch that one?
Well, if there was ever like it was going to be, I have to leave straight as soon as the final whistle goes, I'd be like, I'm definitely getting this train now. I've never left early in a football match, but if I've seen my side lose 8-0, I'm like, I'll be like, I might miss the last 2 minutes to get that train. I'd stay for as much as possible, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
We'll move on. We'll go to move on. Staying up north in the area, we'll go to Burnley, the Luke Chadwick derby, Burnley versus Norwich. And I mean, Norwich beat Man City last week, now lose to Burnley this week, 2-0. And Yeah, I mean, again, early goals. Chris Wood with two goals after 14 minutes. Didn't manage to build on that. Didn't manage to get his hat trick. But it's a little bit disappointed, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so because he had a good couple of chances later on in the game as well, and it's just this little microcosm sums up the Premier League. I think this year, the fact that Norwich can beat Man City and lose to Burnley, it's just. I think it's going to be an absolutely mental season.
Yeah,
and it's going to be great. But Chris Wood probably should have got his hat trick. I mean, Ashley Barnes had a good effort as well. Tim Krul actually made some okay saves.
yeah.
I mean, Timo Pukki was kept very quiet by Burnley.
I think it's the playing style of Burnley isn't suited. Norwich don't seem to do. They're a bit more. They're quite lightweight, quite attractive. They get that physical presence against them. I think West Ham treated them quite similarly, even though West Ham got a lot more skill and quality than Burnley. They got treated a bit physically and got done there as well. But shout out for Dwight McNeil. Again, continues good work from last year. Last season, I think he got kind of 3-4 goals with 5 assists, I think it was. Still only 19. I think if he puts in another season like that, I think he'll be looked at quite hard. Maybe not by top 6 sides, but maybe somewhere in and around that. Because young English and putting in those kind of stats for a side that doesn't really create too much, I think people might be able to see if they can make some gains there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a complete sort of change of fortunes from last year for Burnley. Obviously, had the Europa League as a bit of a surprise, and had, I think, at 1 point, I think they had at this point last season. So actually, very similar to Wolves, I guess. But I mean, it wasn't a great game for the advert of beautiful football. It was very pragmatic, but it was,
Yeah.
I think Burnley know what they are as a team, don't they?
Absolutely.
I don't mean that very offensively either. They know exactly what's good and what they can do. And I would love a penny for Jay Rodriguez's thoughts after being brought back in and played. I think it's 20 minutes he's played in total in the Premier League as sub appearances, something like that. Being bought in for not 7 million or something. They bought him back from.
Yeah, I think close to 10.
Yeah, close to 10. And he's still, losing out to the giants of Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes, but it works for him. So yeah, why not?
Yeah. Talking of low minutes, obviously we had Man City match to keep up to date on. We're going to keep up to date on the Cancelo minutes. Cancelo got 36 minutes against Watford, taking him to, I think, around about 37 minutes in total in the Premier League. He's had, So going well for Cancelo after his £60 million move. Well done. All right, we'll move on to the Phil Jagielka derby. It's actually, that derby almost makes sense as well because he's actually there. Everton versus Sheffield United, and oh my, Sheffield United, 2 shots, 1 on target, 2-0 win. Their first shot,
brilliant.
Their first shot was in the 72nd minute. Their second shot was in the 78th minute, and that's that.
That is Football Manager. Rage quit, not save, reload.
I can imagine Everton fans would have been absolute. All the time it's 1-0, like, they'd be like, right, okay, we can get back into it. Then they go and score with their second shot. It's like, I'd have been absolutely spitting if I was an Everton fan. And we'll touch on one player, Yerry Mina. So Yerry Mina obviously had his big World Cup. He had a bit of an indifferent transfer to Barcelona, a big World Cup, then big money move to Everton. Took a while to get going because of injury, and then I think I almost criticised him on a weekly basis last year just for being too aggressive. Just commits fouls after fouls, and he's not really picked up much. I mean, I'll give a player a kind of a season adaptation when they're new to a league, but it's not really working out for him too much this season either yet.
No, it just seems like he's not in control of his body, is sort of the way I'd describe it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he still flies into tackles. He jumps for headers, and I don't think he ever really knows. I think he jumps for a header with the intention of just getting contact on the ball, not thinking about where it's going to go.
Well, he's like, in the case of this one, it went into the back of his net. So, from Mina,
I'm not sure. I mean, Jordan Pickford didn't cover himself in glory, coming for the cross and flapping. He did that a few, and he's England's best goalkeeper. a
I think
worry. In my
that is a worry, but I think there's a lot of good young goalkeepers coming through. There's a lot
yeah,
playing regularly. So I mean, even in Premier League, I mean, like Ramsdale. I think I hope he's English. Just mentioned him at Bournemouth, obviously. Um, his opposing goalkeeper was English there as well. It should
yeah,
know, isn't he?
Henderson.
Henderson, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm more concerned about England's centre backs, but no. I'd say last word about Everton. I'd say they've already lost to two of the three promoted sides. They've only faced two of three. That's got to be a concern. That's got to be. I always feel like if you're an established Premier League club, you should sort away these promoted clubs like flies when you're side of Everton's calibre. So I think imagine the players be quite frustrated that they've not managed to do that and they've lost two. And yeah, we had a listener question a few weeks ago. We might touch on at the end here around Everton, but yeah, Marco Silva, it's not quite going quite well, and maybe it's just transfers belling in again, but it needs to kind of pick up, otherwise he will get himself under pressure.
yeah, definitely.
All right,
definitely.
We'll briefly touch on the Kazenga-Lualoa derby. This is Newcastle versus Brighton. Ended 0-0. Incredibly dull. I'm not sure if it was still playing now. There'll be any goals, but a slight positives for Newcastle. Andy Carroll, is that a positive? Andy Carroll's back playing. What else was there?
The positive for Newcastle is that Fabian Schär is quick enough to clear the ball off the line.
Lovely clearance. Lovely clearance.
Yeah.
I mean, Alan St. Maximin had a couple of, he's a good dribbler. He looks a little bit bright in places, but I mean Brighton, on the other hand, unfortunately for Brighton, games are decided by how many goals you score, and they're not scoring too many at the moment. Yakambash is still injured, so maybe when he comes back, he can be a transformed player and go back to his former pre-Brighton self. But it's a bit Brucey at the moment. It's a bit Brucey for Newcastle.
Well, it is, and I think this like one of the least attended games when Newcastle have ever been in the Premier League or something. They had a proper fan like protest of staying away, and the club did the thing where they announced the attendance and included all the people with season tickets that didn't actually turn up, and yeah, it was quite obviously not full in St James's Park. But something I wanted to ask you, Josh, Aaron Moy. It looked very strange with him being in a Brighton shirt.
Yeah, I liked Aaron Moy. I thought he was a decent player at Huddersfield. Yeah, but I mean, obviously made the right choice to move from Huddersfield because Huddersfield have yet to win in the Championship, which is bleak. But obviously got new managers, haven't they? Got the Cowley brothers who are in at Huddersfield, which will be quite interesting to see. Obviously, former PE teachers who've worked their way up, so it'll be very interesting to see how they do. And it's not working for the moment, but who knows? There's plenty of a season to go, but they've shown before they can do wonders at other clubs. But we're not here to talk about Huddersfield. Right.
No.
That is Newcastle Brighton. No goals, no interest, I'm afraid. We'll move on to Sunday's matches. And there's some brightness here. There was some good games. We'll start with the Kevin Doyle derby earlier on. Palace v Wolves, and it looked like Palace were going to do one over Wolves here, didn't it?
Oh, come off! If they had lost it, is that Nuno gone? Losing to Palace.
It's pressure building, and it really is. We mentioned last week pressure's building, and I would say Wolves were probably the better side today.
Yeah,
they had created a fair few good chances, I think, but it's the 95th minute goal, was it? But they were down to 10 men. I can kind of see the red card there, but down 10 men and snatching a draw. But it's one of those ones where you don't want to go down 10 men and snatch a draw. You want it to remain 11v11 and get the goal and get the win. But
there was lots of things that were amazing about this game. Coming back, having 10 men and coming back to draw in the 95th minute, and the fact that Adama Traore put a cross in that actually found someone.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah, for the assist. His little cross, I think that's the first one I've ever seen him actually complete.
His little cross, yeah. The man who had a season where he had more complete dribbles than complete passes. That tells you what you need to know, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But
exactly, yeah.
That is Wolves still without a win, find themselves in 19th, 4 points from 6. Obviously didn't win in the Europa League during the week. It's is it concerned? Yeah, I wonder if Wolves fans are concerned. They obviously we go to the Europa League, the EFL Cup next up, I think, and then I mean, the concern will be if they don't get a result from their next Premier League match, which is at home to Watford.
Yeah.
The problem
That
is
would be
with
big
that one
alarm
though,
bells.
Watford will be doing all they can to stop a team scoring at this time. They do not want to be conceding any goal. They will be defensively kind of set, I imagine, with this match.
Yeah, shut up shop. That would be their main call.
Yeah.
Cool. I reckon Nuno's got until the next international break to turn it around, which is 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah,
3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Mid-October, I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
So,
I would say that's fair because he's obviously got Watford in the league, then it's Man City in the league. So you lose, you don't get a result against Watford, lose against Man City, then you can go, right, let's change it up. Bring him back, and he's got
definitely.
Southampton at home, a new manager.
Yeah.
We'll see how much faith the board have. Right, we'll move on to I've just seen what's next up. Didn't realise what it was. It's a David Bellion derby. Dave, take it away. And that's the end of that,
rubbish,
right?
Isn't it? yeah. It's just rubbish. There's no creative. So, do you want me to talk about the game, or shall I just rant about Man United?
Let's quickly touch on the game.
Okay. Well played, West Ham. They did very well. They played well. Yarmolenko showed his class. I mean, I listened to it on the radio because I was driving from one place to another. I was on the way to Derby, so I listened to it on the radio. So I've seen I've seen some of the highlights, but one, I've got to get this off my chest. I bloody hate Pat Nevin. I can't stand him.
You know what? I've always hated him as well, and a lot of people seem to like him. I don't really. I've never understood it. I'm not a fan. Don't like him.
I quite liked his co-commentary until I actually listened to what he was saying, because he's got quite a good voice just to have in the background. But
yeah.
He was saying things like Yarmolenko is one of the best players in the world to cut him from the right wing to hit on his left foot ever. I was like, no, he's not. That's rubbish. Lionel Messi, Arjen Robben. There's two already.
Bale, than him. Boom.
Bale, yeah. I mean, so, yeah, that annoyed me. And then he said loads of other things that annoyed me. So I'll just get that off my chest.
Okay.
So, Pat, if you're listening,
fuck off.
Don't talk nonsense. Yeah. But on that, Yarmolenko did play very well. It was very good. Lovely free kick from Creswell to make it 2-0. Absolute unsavable is what I text someone. David De Gea got across and got a hand to it and couldn't keep it out. It was so far in the top corner. It was a lovely finish. But it's, West Ham did well the first 15, 20 minutes. Sounded very sluggish on the radio. And then on the 20-minute mark, I think we sort of came out and we played better and started creating a few chances, but Yarmolenko went up the other end and scored with a lovely finish into the bottom corner just before half time, and that sort of changed the game. And then we came out for the second half, and again it sounded like, and from the highlights I've seen, that again we played reasonably well. Then we lost Rashford to injury. Lingard came on and went up front, and that didn't work, so we put Daniel James up front and moved Lingard back to the field. Yeah, and then and it gets to that point where you look at the bench and you just think, wow, there's nothing there to help us. And it's, the game, I can't take anything away from West Ham. I thought they played really, really well. They look very solid under Pellegrini at the moment, and they look like they've actually got tactical plans as well as transfer plans going forward and a teamwork ethic. And I thought they'd really struggled getting rid of Arnautovic, but Haller up front did a good job of holding the ball up and getting other people into play. So they deserved their win. I do think they deserved their win. We only came close with a couple of efforts, and it was disappointing. And now on to Man United, because the lack of creativity in that team is absolutely ridiculous. Take Paul Pogba out of that team, and there is nothing in that central midfield. You've got McTominay, who's more box to box than sort of playmaker. You've got Matic, who's a holding midfielder, and you've got Mata, who is just a lovely guy, but no.
And he's past it, I'd say, and he's He's never been a runner as well. You need to kind of, if you want him to perform well, and when he had that cracking season with Chelsea, it was almost like the side was built around him. He was there at the top end of the pitch, being able to thread balls through. He can't. Yeah, I mean, he missed an absolute sitter today, didn't he? But
Yeah.
I mean, he brought Fred on.
That lack of creativity. Yeah, but well, I don't mind Fred, and then I saw his passing ability in this game, and it was horrendous. But I've always said that Fred would have, first season settling in. This season he'll be okay, but no, don't care for Fred anymore. I mean, when we've got someone like Andreas Pereira on the pitch, he's not the best of footballers. He's still young, but he has got a good set piece on him. Why the fuck is Ashley Young still taking our corners? Why? Ashley Young just hits the first man every time, or when he thinks, all right, I've got to compensate this to beat the first man, kicks it out for a throw-in from the other side. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. But, yeah, I mean, I could rant for a while about this, but it's not, it's only football. It's not life or death. It's not.
So we just gave...
Look at Bolton and Bury. It's a lot worse.
Yeah, absolutely. But we just gave... Wolves and Nuno the rundown. I'm just going to give you a quick fixture list update. Obviously, EFL Cup, Rochdale. Let's forget about that. That's not going to decide any manager's career. We have Manchester United versus Arsenal in the Premier League next match. And then we have a Europa League match, and we have Newcastle away, Liverpool at home. Say, that goes against you. Say, draw Arsenal, draw Newcastle, lose Liverpool. Is that bad enough? Would you reckon that would survive that?
He can lose all 3 games. He's not getting sacked.
Really?
Yeah. He's in for the whole season, I'd say. I think he'll either be in for the whole season, or he'll be sacked in January, or he'll resign in January. Well, no, I'm not going to say resign, because that's taken out of the board's hand, isn't it, if he resigns? If he resigns, he'll resign because it's not going well. But I don't think, my honest thought is I don't think the board will sack him this season. I think they'll give him a whole season, because there's the whole thing of when Man United don't have this turnover of managers, that's not the sort of club we are, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's, well, one off, I imagine Solskjaer's quite cheap to keep in a job with wages compared to other managers that you'd want at Man United sort of thing. And then, well, that's another point. Who would come in? Who would come in and take on this job now?
Yeah, I agree. The bit I have a bit with Solskjaer is that I think people seem to treat him as a new manager. The man, he's been managing since 2011. He's not inexperienced. He wasn't tearing up trees before, but obviously you can change clubs and suddenly it ignites something in you. But I think people are expecting a bit too much from him. Is what my thoughts.
Yeah, it was an emotional decision to give him the job. I mean, he did very well, didn't he, in that first stint, and it would have been very hard not to give him the job. But I still stand by the fact that he should have been kept as interim until the end of the season.
Oh yeah, no one disagrees with that. No one disagrees with that. But I think we'll have some interesting podcasts in the coming weeks as we see how those games materialise. Who will get the sack first? We've yet to. We've got in the next batch, haven't we? Who will be the next manager? There's some pressure building, another international break coming. We will see. But we'll move on. We'll leave you there, Dave. We'll get that blood pressure back down. We'll move on to... take your pick. Do we want Raul Morales or Robert Pires? Who do you prefer?
Oh, Robert Pires first.
Robert Pires, the Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Oh, this was a bit of a swinger, wasn't it? This way, that way, red cards, comebacks. And I imagine Villa fans are pretty gutted at this. They had a chance to really push on and win this match. Obviously, went a goal up and then a man up, wasn't it, as well? And Maitland-Niles. I mean, I saw watching the tackle Maitland-Niles. I mean, first of all, John McGinn, big fan of John McGinn. I think John McGinn and just the goals he scored last year, scored some cracking goals, but now he was all action and he's getting a few goals. Love it. Jack Grealish as well. I think he's a cracking player. I think he really should also be looking at an England call up if he continues this kind of form. He's lovely on the ball to watch. I think he really offers something. Maitland-Niles, a lot of Arsenal players were complaining when he got his second yellow. I really can't see how that was the case. Because he just goes in, and studs him. I don't really understand that one. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's some unlikely heroes in matches, aren't there? And I mean,
Like Callum Chambers.
Callum Chambers being one of them, I'd say. Not quite sure where that one really came from. But well done to him. He gets him back in it, doesn't he? And
But I've got. Why was Pepe taking penalties? I always thought it'd just be Aubameyang.
yeah, do you know what? I had this thing earlier in the season. So Pepe, it's one of my pet hates. So pet hate is Madison's stat from last year. We have a player to create 100 chances last year. Well, can we have a split between set pieces and open play, please? Because they're very different. Some players may be super creative, but might be someone else on the corners and free kicks. I also want it per minute because he might be the only player who played all 38 games on corners and was on corners and free kicks, and it really is. It doesn't really tell the whole story. And also the Pepe one is when he came, you got like 22 goals last year. It's like I think like 14 of them or something were penalties. It really skews it. And so if he's not on penalty duty, that immediately takes away 14 of his goals. And so maybe it was because of wanting to get that first goal, maybe because he's yet to score. Maybe I don't know. It's a bit funny this season. It's been a bit like it should never be a confusing thing. It should be designated penalty taker takes it. Obviously, it might have been behind the scenes that was agreed, but it's a bit of obviously the Man United piece that they have changed penalty takers a few times. It seems weird if there's any variation to it.
Yeah.
But then they immediately fall behind again. Wesley, who surprised me actually, isn't it? I think we both were a bit. Me especially was a bit like he's never going to score any, and I think he's maybe scored maybe 3 and 4 now. He's done okay.
He's done alright. He's a big. They're playing to his strength as well. He's a big guy. He holds it up well. He's. I think he'll settle in well, and I think he'll be much better than you thought, and slightly better than what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I'm a Football Manager, so
yeah, but the player really, I mean, Arsenal and Aubameyang it's really gone under the radar how good that transfer has been, and lovely strike from him. Keeper got completely wrong footed. I mean, unless I've missed a deflection, it things like the keeper got completely wrong footed, and grabs and a win near the end. It's I didn't see it coming, to be honest with you. I thought at best it was going to be a draw at 1-1, and I then focused on the Chelsea-Liverpool match, and I was like, oh, my goodness. Arsenal have done pretty well, actually. Absolutely shit-housed their way to a win, but a win's a win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think many people in Super 6 would have predicted that. Was it even a game in Super 6?
No, Super 6 typically is the Saturday 3 o'clock, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's true.
But we'll move across to the other side of London, shall we? We've got the Real Morelos derby, Chelsea v Liverpool, and this kind of went the way I expected. And Trent Alexander-Arnold doing similar to what Aubameyang did, but Trent Alexander, I mean, he's good for Visa. Maybe he needs to get a little bit more regular because he's clearly got a good strike on him, got a good cross on him. If he can start doing this semi-regularly, getting 3-4 goals a season like that, that'd be a really good weapon to have, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, unbelievable. If you can get someone as consistent on free kicks and set pieces like that, it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Huge difference.
Yeah, and I mean Chelsea thought they got themselves back into it, and this one was judged offside again. I mean, the offside's clearer because it's actually, I mean, it's a full-on body part. You can see it's gone over, but the issue is how the phase of play this was in. This was a lot of football was played after it, and I'm not sure what the directive is with VAR, because there may be a massive passing move which lasts minutes, and then the ball goes in the back of the net. Does they issue the whole phase of play? Is it a subjective issue where they can pick what is the phase of play? I'm not quite sure what the issue is, or the pinpoint is where they pick from.
You're always, because you're clear with phases of plays. You're clear in terms of if it's a shot, aren't you? Because that's the end of the phase of play, or when it goes to a cross and things like that. But if it's just a full-on passing move, it's very hard to. I agree. It's very hard to define as a phase of play.
And the issue is so. Say, for Liverpool's second goal. So Liverpool's second goal, this is a free kick, was on the edge of the box, whipped in, Firmino heads it in. No issue there. But if there had been so when they won that free kick, say there had been an offside there, referee didn't spot it, no issue. I don't think the would look at that. Ball gets crossed in, goal. But if that had been no foul given and then let to flow, the offside would have then been reviewed. It's that kind of, I don't know. It's a strange one, but I mean, there's enough VAR criticism going on this pod. We don't need to add more to it, but yeah, it's a bit of a confusing issue, and it's one of these things where you go, oh, well, just let's get technology in, but then you think, oh, there's so many different scenarios and issues we need to talk through and work through, because it's just there for your work. It's on show to the world, isn't it? It's a very disconcerting place to be, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. But I think, like, just going back to the game, I think it was a very good game. I think Chelsea
I thought it was very,
more of a fight than I thought.
Yeah, Liverpool, I mean, second half, Liverpool, nothing,
very good.
They?
I think Liverpool started really well in the first half. Obviously, got to the 2-0 lead and looked good. But Chelsea made them work for that win. It was a very good game of football. Yeah, and Kante popping up with a goal. Ridiculously.
Lovely goal as well, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I was a little bit underwhelmed by Jorginho. Yeah, again, he seemed to really his legs seemed to go a little bit. He was just spraying passes, misplacing passes a lot. I was really impressed with Tomori. Lovely turn of pace on him, just kind of ate up the ground when tracking with Salah. Did really well. But yeah, Liverpool march on, and they find themselves with a perfect record, and 5 points clear of Man City. I mean, so that's the table shaping up. We've got Liverpool, City, we've got Leicester in third, Arsenal fourth, West Ham fifth, Bournemouth sixth, Spurs seventh, and then Man United eighth. Yeah, we'd like a little bit of movement there, Dave, wouldn't we? But
yeah, just a bit.
Other end of the table, I mean, Watford, I think we thought they'd be down there. I mean, Wolves, we kind of mentioned it was going to be a bit tougher than Villa, Newcastle, Norwich, Brighton. Everton find themselves languishing down there beneath Southampton and Palace, and Chelsea find themselves in 11th. Sheffield United and Burnley completely the top of the top half. But it's 6 matches in. You can tell a few little bits and pieces, but yeah, I mean, you get another month or so in when it starts shaping up and you get a kind of a third of the way through, then it gets a bit interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like Wolves don't turn this corner and sack a manager, then it's like, oh, okay. Or Leicester have another couple of wins and keep pushing on and keep themselves in that top 4. Then yeah, we can start to get excited either way.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
but a good weekend for the Premier League, I'd say.
Yeah, full set of fixtures, lots of talking points, a few sending offs, some lovely goals. Favourite goal of the weekend? Have you got one that springs to mind?
I did really like James Maddison's. I know you said that it probably should have been saved. Actually, probably Ryan Cresswell's free kick, actually. It was a beaut. It was an absolute beauty.
Nice. So, I go for De Bruyne's finish. It just absolute excess. It just roofs it. I just love that.
Yeah. It was out of nowhere, wasn't it? No backlift, and then he hit it so hard.
Right. No, this is a point a commentator said. No backlift. I'm pretty sure it's more about run up when people say backlift, because if you look how far his leg goes back, I imagine it goes back as far as every other leg, but it's the fact that he's not running onto it. Am I being stupid here? Because there's no backlifting. I think is an absolute red herring.
Well, when they say no backlift, it probably is because he's not running onto it. Yeah,
because it's not like he's just shoving his foot back an inch and it's suddenly he's power loaded his right foot. It's I'd say we need to say, oh, look at that, not much backlift. Oh, no run up. That's what I'm going to start criticising people for. None of this backlift.
It's more no momentum, not no backlift. Yeah,
he's not moving on to it. Yeah, right. Glad we cleared it up.
Good.
Let's move on to one of our top 10 features.
Top 10? Have we got 10 features? Have we?
Oh, you wait.
Okay. I got a wiki file. Here comes a wiki file. I got a wiki file for you. Hey! Right, for those that don't know, the wiki files is every week Josh and I rotate and we get Wikipedia stats of a footballer, which is clubs, appearances, and goals throughout their career. And we have to guess. We send it to each other, and we have to guess who the player is. There are a couple of rules. The Lorik Kana rule. The player in question must have played more than 30 games, is it?
Yeah, 31, I
In
think,
the
yeah.
Yeah, has to have played a minimum of 31 games in the Premier League. And then the Paul Rideout rule, which is where they must have played in the Premier League or made those appearances in the Premier League after Euro 96, because that's when our football knowledge really started to take shape. And this week, Josh has sent me a player. And yeah. Okay. So his youth career started at Blacktown City Demons, which is, in my mind, sounds like it may be in Africa or something.
Sounds like a threatening side, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. 94 to 95 in his youth career, he played for AIS. I don't know where they're based. And in 95 to 97, he was still in a youth career playing for Ajax. At the end of his youth career, he then moved to Arminia Bielefeld, which I think is in Germany, 97 to 98. He then moved to Japan in 98 to 2000 for Sanfrecce Hiroshima, where he played 37 games, and I can't see how many goals he scored. I'm going to assume it's 0.
5,
but it's
Dave,
been cut off
5.
from the screenshot that Josh has sent me. Oh, 5. I can't see it. Your screenshot's rubbish.
Oh,
We'll blame
no.
the phone. Then he got a move to, I assume, a Premier League West Ham in 2000 to 2002, making 12 appearances and not scoring any goals.
0 goals, yeah.
He
correct.
also went on loan during that time. Yeah, went on loan during that time to KV Mechelen in Belgium, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Playing 4 times, and I can't see the goals.
0 goals.
0 goals.
I'll fill in those blanks, don't worry.
Thank you. Then got a move from West Ham to Portsmouth in 2002 to 2005, which was all Premier League for Portsmouth. Or did they get relegated in that time?
There's one started
Can't
off.
remember.
He got promoted with them, I think.
Okay. 46 appearances and 2 goals. Then he got a move to Leeds United in 2006 for a season to 2007. 21 appearances, 1 goal. And then, went to Australia. 2007-2009, Perth Glory, 8 appearances, 0 goals. 2010-2011, Sydney FC, 25 appearances, 0 goals. Giving him a grand total of 154 appearances and 3 goals. So they could have been 5 goals,
Wikipedia has added that all up wrong. But let's not detract from the accuracy of Wikipedia. Dave, any thoughts or any hints or tips you would like?
I'm trying to think West Ham to Portsmouth. I've got a few people, but not around that era, 2002. And there was is he? I'm thinking defender.
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
With goal stats like that.
Centre back.
Yeah. I was thinking centre back. So West Ham to Portsmouth to Leeds. I'm going to take his nationality. Can I have his nationality? Or his national stats?
So he has worked his way through youth setup, but ended up with a full team playing 11 games, scoring 2 goals for Australia.
Oh, bloody hell. Centre back for Australia. I bet this is really obvious now you've said that. And
I'm not sure. I mean, Australians in the Premier League, centre backs.
No, it's not. No. I was going to say Lucas Neal.
I knew you were going to go Lucas Neal. No, he was Australian, but he obviously had that big stint at Blackburn that we'd see there, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Oh, you might have got me, Josh.
His hair colour was similar
to... You might have got me.
His last name is an animal, which has somewhat ginger hair, much like his head. Was that confusing?
Oh, yeah, that's confused me. But I think I know. I can picture
I'll put you out of your misery. It's Hayden Fox.
Oh,
I know you're thinking, what's he up to now? Assistant manager at Perth Glory. What he's up to?
There you go. He must have impressed in those 8 games.
Tony Popovich is the is the main manager who was obviously at Palace for a long, long time. So some Premier League experience being brought to the brought to the side there.
Well, there you go. You got me on the wiki files.
Got you on
mate.
Lucas
Well
Files,
done.
but I think I said when I sent over to you, I was like, I think that's quite hard. Yeah,
I
I
thought
mean,
it was quite tough. Yeah.
I think if he wasn't Ginger, I wouldn't remember him at all. I think maybe he's got that going for him.
Yeah. I have nothing. I have no standout memory. I have no memory of Hayden Fox. I recognise the player now. I could picture him, but yeah, I mean, he's not impacted my football life whatsoever. Sorry, Hayden.
Let's revert back to the quiz. We have the list of 10 managers who have spent the most money, the highest spending managers of all time, and obviously all time is going to be very much kind of recency bias to that with money in football, and also they will mainly be European managers because that's where the money is. Dave has done so well so far so well. 6 managers named. We have Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, Manuel Pellegrini, Carlo Ancelotti, Roberto Mancini, and Arsene Wenger. You have 4 left to name.
Now, a weird one is
Oh.
Sven-Goran Eriksson.
Oh, that is a weird one. Oh, old sexy Sven. No, he's not in there.
I just thought of Man City and then a stint in China.
He probably got a bit of money to spend at City, but I think it was too much of his career was before all the big money came in. So no, I think that's probably his downfall.
Unai Emery.
Unai Emery, yes. I mean, his top 2 signings. I had a quick look at this because I was like, oh yeah, Emery. His top 2 signings on that list are Neymar and the loan fee for Mbappe because he signed permanently once he was at Arsenal. But yeah, if it wasn't for Neymar, he would not be on this list.
Okay. God. Okay. So it's big. How many of them aren't in the Premier League or haven't managed in the Premier League?
So I've got. I think you've got 3 left to name, and 2 haven't been. Oh no, you've got all 3 aren't Premier League managers now.
They are or they aren't?
Aren't and have never been.
Oh, okay. That's annoying because I was going to peg Claudio Ranieri as one of them.
Oh no! Sorry, I was wrong. 2 to 1. So 1 has been. But Ranieri, no, he's not.
Claudio Ranieri.
Yeah. But there is similarities between the 2. The one Ranieri and the one you haven't named is managed in the Premier League. Both managed similar clubs and similar nationalities.
So
I say similar, the same.
Both were Italian and managed Chelsea.
Conte. Probably helped by his little bit of spending spree at Inter. He's just gone. Number 9, that was.
Yeah. Okay. Allegri.
Oh, good shout, Dave. Yeah, number 3.
Okay.
So you have 1 remaining, and this one is a bit different. I'm not sure. Has he managed? I think he might have just managed the 1 club of note, especially where he would have spent his money. It's still there as well.
He's still there.
Oh no, he's managed a number of clubs, but I'm right. Is not really. He would never have got to anywhere near the money spent. All of his money would have been spent at his current club. Still there.
Gus Hiddink.
No, that is not right. This manager is one of the young up and comers. He's still in his 40s. English fans will hate him for what he did to David Beckham, or what David Beckham did to him.
Pochettino.
Oh no, you went there. No, Dave.
Oh no. Sorry, Zanetti.
No.
The Atletico Madrid manager.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. What's his name?
What's his bloody name? Oh my God, what's his name? This is killing me.
I think his nickname is Cholo because he looks like a previous Boca player. But yeah.
Don't ruin it for me. I need to do this.
Well, this will be fun for you listeners, right? Just going to sit here for another 20 minutes while Dave ekes this one out. Might as well be having a poo, Dave.
Oh my God, what is... Yeah.
Just listen to Dave curl out the name from his brain.
Diego Simeone.
Diego Simeone, yeah, was managed by Sven-Göran Eriksson of Lazio. Just as a nice little circle to that. Yes, Diego Simeone. Yeah.
There we go.
Wow, the man who no one knows his name. But yeah, that's the list.
I apologise for that, listeners.
Don't worry, Dave. Yeah, at least you got all the answers. You might not got Hayden Fox, but you got all the answers to the quiz. So well done.
Yes. Awesome.
Right, I will now proceed to end this podcast unless you have any other business, David Nichols.
The only other business I'll announce, Josh, is that on Friday we have a special episode coming.
What is it, Dave? What is it?
We are doing a mastermind YouTube live stream of football knowledge. Me, v Josh, and Owen. You know, we've sort of already written Owen off, but he might storm out of nowhere and win it.
Best fucking not.
Yeah, we're going to do a mastermind quiz. So we've all got our specialist subjects, which is, for me and Josh, it's transfers of our ins and outs. I'm thinking we're doing ins and outs, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Tottenham
Always.
And Man United, respectively, from the years of 2001, did we say, to present?
Yeah, and
day?
in doing research for this, I realised how long ago that was. To give you a hint, it was from 2000 onwards. We signed Sergei Rebrov in 2000, so that's going to be a long time.
Yeah. And Owen, I think, has picked transfers ins and outs for West Ham of a slightly shorter period. I think he's picked.
Yeah, last summer.
We're going to have another special guest in as host, which is a friend of ours called Jim Carver, who's a big Norwich fan and lives in Australia, who will also be back in the UK in the same time that I'm back here. So we're going to have a big Friday special. If there's technical reasons why we can't stream it, it will still be recorded and released as an episode on Football Talk's YouTube channel, which will be all good fun. So make sure you try and tune into that. We'll put lots of tweets out when we've got a confirmed time and stuff. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm very excited about that. You can carry on with your outro, Josh.
Brilliant. That is, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I do need to get a few more. Well, when I've had minutes in the bank of research, I need to get at least an hour in the bank of research and to make sure I feel confident to go. But yeah, that should be exciting. But obviously, until then, you can check out our back catalogue on YouTube at Football Talk. Also available on Spotify. Search Michael Ballsack or Divkok Origi. Just two of the searches that we are synonymous with. We're also available on SoundCloud, so you're able to listen on a number of platforms. But also, you can contact us. You can interact with us on Twitter. Send us a tweet at Football Talk. But remember,
there's no A in football.
Well, he's quick as a rat out of a drain pipe, as the saying goes. But that is all from us this week. Yeah, they're brilliant.